The WHO Foundation was formed almost 4 years ago, in essence to support the World Health Organization. Well, I'm joined now by Reem Addelhamid, the MENA Regional Director for Philanthropy and Partnerships. Reem, welcome. So good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about the journey to where we are today. So the WHO Foundation was formed just under 4 years ago.
Absolutely. So the WHO Foundation was actually formed as a result of the Director General of the World Health Organization realizing that we need to work better with the private sector. So, traditionally for 75 years now, WHO has been financed and funded by member states, UN member states, right? And there's a recognition that there's a need to work with the private sector, not only for funding, for flexible funding, and don't get me wrong, that is important, but also because of, they work there for innovation, to be able to work more efficiently, to help the WHO actually deliver better, their critical services when it comes to global health. We have identified key thematic areas such as mental health, primary health care, digital health, climate change and health, women's health. And so we work with the WHO teams to identify, what are the funding gaps and where do they need most support. And we try to bridge the gap or bring the right partner from the private sector to WHO to partner with them and to be able to sort of close that gap.
There's a lot of change happening in the philanthropy space at the moment. And it seems to me after conversations that a lot of this is happening through technology, and how much difference that's making and the changes that's making very, very rapidly. Right across the impact investing space as a whole. Is this something that you're experiencing? And when you look at technology and the role that technology is playing within your area of expertise, is this something that you're very excited about?
No, absolutely. One of our pillars that, as I mentioned earlier, was digital health, right? So we are looking at the way health is delivered to the wider population across the globe, and how technology can support that. So definitely it has an impact, yes, and technology has enabled that. So not only, so from the health perspective, yes, it has enabled, sort of reaching more people through capacity building online, through doing all sorts of programs that otherwise maybe we would not reach certain people. So that's one part. But also as WHO Foundation, we are a team of about 50 people. We're scattered all over the world, right? And although we are scattered, we are together, on Zoom calls, and I think that has also helped us be able to get expertise from different areas and different regions of the world and deliver it to, most vulnerable communities, which is our target, right? Because our overall mandate at the foundation is global health equity. Yeah. We want to make sure people have, equitable access to the healthcare that they need.
One of the things that we're particularly interested in is climate change, and you talked about that as being one of your pillars earlier on in our conversation. Obviously, it has such a huge impact on health, particularly in the developing world. What are you focused on when it comes to resolving those particular issues as far and as fast as we possibly can?
So climate change and health is a big one for us. It's one of our biggest priorities. It is definitely one of our pillars, our thematic areas, but it's really a priority for us. I think there's recognition, first of all, that it's a shared responsibility. We can't wait for governments to have all the solutions and to be able to come up with sustainable opportunities to fix things, if I can say that. The private sector needs to be involved, development community needs to be involved, development banks and whatnot. So philanthropy, corporate, everybody has a role to play. So we are really focused on looking at how can we bring all these different players together and find solutions, not only mitigation, but adaptation as well, right? We're looking at both. One of the key things we're actually in the moment looking at is we're looking at, is it possible to set up an innovation center for climate change and health that really brings together academia, researchers, private funding, government entities, the public in general, and whatnot, because there's a huge need to work together, because that's the only way we'll be able to move forward, right? We need to recognize also that you cannot talk about climate change without health. Climate change is causing droughts, right? Which is causing food insecurities, malnutrition, displacement because of droughts, right? And then ultimately lack of access to healthcare because you're moving to a different place. It really has impact on health. It's causing floods, which is the same thing, right? Waterborne diseases, airborne disease. I mean, ultimately, I think we really can't talk about climate change without talking about health.
Okay, well, Reem, thank you so much for chatting to us today.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much for having me.